Hey everybody, welcome to BrickVault. My name's Jack. Today is a minifigure collection episode. In front of me, I've got every single Doc Ock minifigure ever made. So the Doc Ock collection just has 7 minifigs, but you can see they're really spread out, and that's because they all come with these giant mechanical arms or tentacles. Now, I would venture to say that most people think Green Goblin is Spider-Man's arch enemy, and in a lot of ways he is. But if there is a second runner-up, I would definitely put Doc Ock right behind the Green Goblin. And in fact, Stan Lee is quoted to say that the Green Goblin is Peter Parker's greatest enemy, while Doc Ock is Spider-Man's greatest enemy. And the reason why he says that is because, well, Green Goblin knows Peter Parker, the true identity of Spider-Man, and therefore carries out his attacks in a more personal manner, while Doc Ock masterminds plans against Spider-Man himself. So anyways, paraphrasing the words of Stan Lee, let's check out Spider-Man's greatest enemy, Doc Ock. The first one came out back in 2004, and by the first minifig, I mean the first 4 minifigs, because these 4 guys all came out in sets for Spider-Man 2 that was also released this same year, and the main villain of this movie was Dr. Octopus, or Dr. Otto Octavius. I haven't even said his real name until just now. But anyways, here are the 4 first guys, and their detailing is meant to reflect the character from this specific movie and not yet the comic books. They achieve this look pretty well, except for I gotta say that the Ron Weasley hairpiece that they use for his head doesn't really match the hair of the character from the movie, but instead is a lot closer to what it looks like in the comic book series. So jumping in now and taking a closer look at some of these minifigs individually. This first one, he's first because basically this is Doc Ock becoming Doc Ock in the movie. He came out in the set Doc Ock's Fusion Lab, and this is where some horrible accident happens and he was about to create a black hole, destroy New York. His mind gets warped and he becomes the evil Dr. Octopus at this moment. So he's in this special kind of lab suit to help him operate the arms right now. We've got a lot of nice reflective printing on the front of the chest piece with quite a bit of nice fine detailing there actually if you really do take a close look at it. He's got very much an oh no expression on his face and some cool looking goggles as well. And of course, his main claim to fame, the 4 extra tentacles that give him 8 appendages, are built onto the back. They look pretty good, actually. Dr. Octopus's pinchers or claws at the end of the tentacles were never really very big, and though it would have been nice to figure out a way to have 3 phalanges sort of at the end of the tentacles, that would have been more accurate, I think the double ones work just fine. So guess what? This minifig was exclusive to just one set, and that set was played with by a lot of kids. There's hardly any minifigures here that are labeled as new, so to find him on BrickLink in very good condition, I would say you're paying at least $35 for him. But to get this minifigure having never been used at all, you're probably going to be paying closer to $50. Yeah, that is very expensive for any kind of minifig, and it seems to be the case for all the Doc Ock minifigs. Their prices for the next 3 that also came out in 2004, they're all roughly between $30 and $40. The only difference between any of these guys is the single expression printed on their faces. But first, I'm just going to focus on the detailing for the body. He's in sand green, which doesn't quite reflect the dark green trench coat that he wore in the film. And of course, this minifigure would have benefited greatly if there was printing that went all the way down the legs to show he indeed was wearing a trench coat. The odd thing here is that you can see the same detailing for the metal wrapping going around his torso underneath the trench coat, except the printing this time is not silver and reflective. Oddly enough, he is described as the clenched teeth smile Doc Ock, though in my opinion, it doesn't really look at all like a smile. He definitely looks a lot more angry. He was released in the Spider-Man's Train Rescue set number 4855, and brand new, he's gonna cost $34. Now I'm gonna go through the other 2 Doc Ocks a little quicker now. His facial expression was described as a thin smirk. That's how you find him on the search results anyways, and once again, I don't see his facial expression being a smirk at all. If anything, it's more like a frown. He was released in Doc Ock's bank robbery set 4854, and yeah, he also too sells in the mid-30s. This last Doc Ock is the only one that seems to be described accurately. He is called the Thin, Toothy Smile Doc Ock. His single appearance in a set was the Doc Ock Hideout set 4856. And yes, His price is pretty much the same as the rest. Alright, and that is when the sets for the Spider-Man movies ended, and we didn't get anything else for more Spider-Man villains or Spider-Man himself until 2012 when the Marvel Superheroes line came out, and it started off with sets based on the Ultimate Spider-Man TV show. So this next Doc Ock doesn't look anything like our traditional one from the comics, nor like anything from the movies. He's a completely re-envisioned character, and though this reimagined guy doesn't hold much nostalgia for me, I have to say I do like some of the detailing. The print for his suit goes on both the front and the back, but I think this minifig very much excels with the two prints for the face. He looks very much like an old man now, and the detailing itself has just a nice shape for the mouth, and I like the look of those red glasses. The build for his tentacles is exactly the same, though the light gray pieces used before are now black, and one of those pieces at the end that was dark bluish gray is now light gray. Still the exact same kind of build though, and the set he appeared in was Spider-Man's Doc Ock Ambush, set number 6873, and brand new this guy sells for around $18. He's certainly cheaper than the originals, but by no means is he a cheap minifig. Now, a couple years later, 2014 gives us a Doc Ock that is much closer to what we get from the comic books. He's in kind of a supervillain suit with his white lab coat draped over. Now, the Ron Weasley hairpiece makes a lot more sense because Doc Ock did have a kind of funny looking bowl cut from the comic books. And he's also commonly portrayed with some ridiculous silver sunglasses that bear a striking similarity to another doctor's sunglasses. Anyways, he looks excellent, especially with that coat being printed down onto the legs. And he appeared in the set Doc Ock Truck Heist, set number 76015, oddly enough being one of the best looking Dr. Octopus minifigs in my opinion from the whole collection. He is among the cheapest. He comes out at $9 brand new. So with that, we're going to move on to our very last Dr. Octopus, which is also another classic comic book looking Dr. Octopus. In fact, he's almost the same as the previous guy. Now he is no longer wearing his lab coat, and you also can't see the belt going around his chest. Or the belt just looks different, I suppose. The most notable difference about this guy, and what I think certainly looks the best, are his dual molded legs. They really tie the look of his suit together, and I guess also another massive difference, maybe even more notable, is the actual build for his tentacles. Now these can also be retrofitted onto his ridiculous vehicle from this set. By the way, the name of it is Doc Ock's Tentacle Trap, and they can actually be used as arms for this giant sort of water walking mech machine, and then you can just take them off the machine and attach them to the minifigure. Because of this, they're a little bit longer. They're extended right at the base where they attach to the back, and now Doc Ock has 3 phalanges at the end of his tentacles, though they are really big now. Functionally, they work really well. You can use the studs to pick up minifigs and hold just a number of different objects. And yeah, so the proportions aren't totally accurate. Certainly the most functional of the tentacles, and he comes out to around $5, making him the cheapest of any of the Dr. Octopus minifigs, and we've also just completed the collection. So here are all 7 again, lucky 7, and in this collection I don't think any of the Doc Ock minifigs were actually made poorly. The printing all works pretty well for the characters they were trying to portray, and man oh man, those original 4 figs from Spider-Man 2 certainly are pretty pricey. Can't say I've got any special requests about another Doc Ock minifig in the future, but I think LEGO has definitely done a very good job portraying this supervillain. Alright, that is it for this episode. Thanks a lot for watching, everybody. If you enjoy our content, you can always like or subscribe, and let me know in the comment section below what kind of a minifigure collection you want to see in the future. We've got a lot of Marvel and DC stuff coming up, I can tell you that right now. And other than that, thanks a lot for watching again, and we will see you next time at BrickVault.